Okay, here we go. What's up, everyone? And I might have some interruptions. This house does not stop. But I did want to talk about this, talking about Israel and Palestine. I've been listening to a lot of different things. I mean, the most recent was the Dave Smith. I think that's his name. I listened the whole time. I mean, he has a very I was gonna say unique, but it's not really unique at all. It's Dave Smith. Dave Smith and Tucker Carlson. And then the whole thing with Dave Smith and who was that other guy on Joe Rogan podcast that not too long ago they had a whole heated debate and conversation. I bet if I type it in, it'll Smith debate. Douglas Murray, that's who it is. Dave Smith's Douglas Murray debate that happened on Joe Rogan about a month ago. I wanted to talk about this, not because I have a very staunch opinion about this, about one way or the other, whether I am very pro-Israel. I'm very pro-Israel. But I wanted to get this on the record because I'm not the type of person where this is my view. It's never going to change in the sense I'm not going to give in if I think something is wrong or incorrect. I am completely willing to have my mind changed. But I wanted to, and I know that my viewpoints definitely evolve over time, and they're not the same at all times. What I believed exactly yesterday is not exactly what I believe today. I'm completely open and transparent and honest. If I think something has more weight to it, I'm gonna move to that position. So I wanted to get on the record that what I believe about this, because the whole Douglas Murray and Dave Smith debacle or whatever, there was so many elements to it. I don't think Joe or Dave thought at all what was going to happen when Douglas came on that show about a month ago, and he just came out right out of the gate and just tried to disqualify Dave and every podcaster that is out there from being able to speak on this if they don't have credentials to be able to speak as a historian or as someone that has the built up resume. And he came out of it. So I think he lost a lot of kind of respect and authority in his space just based on the way he came about it. Having said that, I think Dave was completely in the right in a lot of the ways, the way he went about the conversation, but not necessarily looking it over and kind of where I stand personally. I think I would disagree a little bit with what Dave is saying, because it seems like in certain aspects, I am going to give more benefit of the doubt to Israel. And it's because I have a heavy leaning on the Bible, on the covenantal promises that Israel has within history, the special, unique relationship that God has with Israel. Not to say that they can't do anything wrong, because obviously they can. They can, just like anyone else out there. Everybody, and we have actually a documented history of them doing 1,000 things wrong and being punished for a lot of the things that they did, the atrocities that they did, and how they fell away from God and went and all that. But it still says in the Bible, I will bless those who bless you, and those who curse you, I will curse. Dave's position on this, I feel like I haven't, because I haven't watched him, I don't know everything, his viewpoint on everything, and I don't think he has laid it out exquisitely in the sense that in a compiled, concentrated manner. Not like he's extremely good at articulating what he believes, but I don't have it like in front of me, because he talks on such a wide variety of topics. I don't know exactly where he is standing on the whole situation. I'm not fully getting it. All I see is him talking about that Israel should not be bombing little kids in Palestine and them doing that, and that is wrong and terrible. And I get that. Yes, that is wrong and terrible. That is wrong and terrible. We don't want to kill kids at all. We don't want to have collateral damage at all. But there's so much going on over there, and I'm going to side with Israel personally, but I don't want to immediately just disqualify myself. That's why I wanted to start off with I am in the position where if I think that there's a better argument for something else that I don't agree with, I'm going to switch my viewpoint and side with whatever is right, whatever has more support to it. And I know that Israel and Palestine, this is going on thousands and thousands of years. And we can even take this back even further. This could have been not necessarily just with Israel and who is immediately in there, Palestine now, but this could have been this. I mean, we in the Bible, we have the Philistines. There had to been, and there were a lot of different ethnicities and nations and groups of people within that area that Israel has fought for thousands and thousands of years. So who is Palestine now? It's just this group of people. And they're not, people are people. It doesn't matter. Wherever you live in the world, whatever like tribe you grow up under, you're still a person. Everybody is on the same playing field. It doesn't matter if you're Israel or anyone else in this world. We are all, made in the image of God. We are all made in the image of God. And so we all have equal value and standing before God. So just because somebody looks different than us doesn't mean that they are any more or less valuable than us. But there is a special, unique relationship in place that Israel has in the world compared to everyone else. They are the chosen nation. And they're a unique nation in who is qualified to be Jewish. Because there's a difference between Jewish and Israel, nation of Israel. And this is something that can be kind of struggling and not exactly clear to everyone. And it's not always even clear to me. I study this all the time. I'm researching this all the time. I know a lot about Judaism and as a religion and belief structure and all that, and present day Jews and the different branches of Orthodoxy and those who aren't Orthodoxy, those who, they have like a different sect for about everything. And that's the way it's been. But there is a difference between that and the nation of Israel. So you almost got to disconnect the religiosity of Israel, the religiosity of Judaism from the nation of Israel. It's a state. It's a political structure that has been established and put together since 1948. Since 1948, when all that happened, and the flood and return of Zionists, of getting the Jewish people back to that nation. So it's very complex in understanding the difference between Jewish people and what Judaism is as a religion, and then now what is an actual qualified, bona fide state that is like any other nation. It was discontinued for 2,000 years, and now it's back in place in the land that God promised it. God promised that land to Israel. And that itself is kind of puzzling and kind of hard to understand, because God promises it to him thousands of years ago, probably about 4,000 years ago, around that, when God gives it to Abraham and tells him that. But then they're to go along, and he doesn't immediately just put them there, and then they're there and they have it. They got the signed deed, and they have perfect qualifying credentials that this is our land. They don't have a signed deed and like that shows that it has been handed over to them by God. And he doesn't immediately just speak from heaven and tell all the other nations, hey, I gave that to Israel. You all can move along now. But it was a promise about something far future. So this is the struggle. God has promised it to them, and they will have that land. That will be their land. And it's when their Messiah comes, when their Messiah sets up an earthly kingdom, which will actually happen. It will happen. He will set up an earthly kingdom and basically rule the world, this planet, from Jerusalem. And it will happen there's so many prophecies about it and all this. It's going to happen in the far future. And at that point, Israel will occupy that land fully, perfectly, and the promise will be finally fulfilled when the Messiah comes. When the Messiah comes and sets up that kingdom. So does that mean that Israel now is guaranteed, is now, that it's really theirs, and anyone else in that land doesn't really have grounding and standing to be there? That is the struggle, and that is the struggle for me personally in talking about all this. But the whole conflict in Israel and Palestine, this why I would love to even talk to Dave Smith about this and how he would even, because he sounds like, at least that he believes in God. It sounds like he's probably a Christian. But even Christians have a lot of different viewpoints about this, a lot of different viewpoints of whether Israel still even has a place in God's plan, or if they've been pushed to the side, set aside, that was just their coming of age and just a way to bring the Messiah into the world. And then he's going to go to everything else is all the other nations. It was just the means to the end, which is the savior of the world, saving the world. But I am of the position that God has a place for Israel eternally. God's promises are never nullified or revoked. The gifts and calling of God are irrevocable. That's what it says in Romans. Paul, New Testament, those promises that were given to Israel, they haven't been done away with, and they are going to be fully established. So that's the difference. Because God has promised it to Israel and that they will eventually receive that and have the land fully inhabited, and that will be theirs, and God will fully give it to them, does that mean that they are guaranteed it now? And does that even get in line with the whole situation, the immediate existing conflict that Palestine and Israel are facing right now? I'm on the side of, as a Christian, but like I said, my viewpoint on anything is always willing to. I'm not overly prideful in saying my viewpoint's correct. I'm not going to change. If there's good argument for something else, I am definitely willing to listen. But I wanted to be on the record of this and where I'm at right now. I'm going to side with Israel and what they're doing in bombing, where it's actually bleeding over into civilians. That's tough, and that is any nation's decision to do that. Any nation, because I really don't think if we got into the inner circles behind closed doors with Israel, I do not see that their leaders at this time are saying, let's go in there and kill kids. I don't see them go and saying, how are we going to kill as many civilians as possible? They were attacked on October 7th, and now they are in this where they have to, it's been long enough, they need to get this whole sickening virus that is Palestine, this mindset that these people, kids grow up and they are just from the womb taught to hate Israel. They are taught to hate Israel and taught to hate Jews no matter what. It's not to say that those kids are doing anything wrong, but they're in a terrible situation. So I don't think they should, we obviously do not want any kids to be killed. We do not want any women to be killed. And guys are going to fight. Guys are that's war. But I think that Israel at least has a right to defend itself in what they've done. And if they just push so far and then just let it be, right now, where I'm at right now, they would be not doing the best thing, the smartest thing in their interest as a nation. I don't see it at all. I don't see it at all that they would be doing what would be wise for them as a nation to continue to exist. Because just it's very tough. It's very tough to think about this. And I don't even really like even saying this. I don't even like talking about this because I don't want it to come across. Everybody has inner thoughts. They like, and it's like maybe you shouldn't really say this. Maybe I should just keep it on the back burner, keep it in the back of my mind. At least for me, when I'm thinking about in times in history and when I just go to the Jewish nation, as any other nation, that they would completely destroy places, that they would drive them out. There was that divine command of killing all of the people, even the animals that lived. And that was at that time. That command is, to the best of my knowledge, at this time, not still in effect. It was at that unique time in history that God issued that command to Israel. But just saying that and talking about it in that context of, 3,000 or maybe about 3,500 years ago, around that time, when Joshua was taking over the land of Canaan, at least as a natural perspective, I can understand at least why the command was to destroy everyone that did not retreat and did not leave. It's because if you kill a father, or you kill, their boy is going to come up. They're going to come after you. They're going to grow up and they're going to want to, they're going to grow up and they're going to grow up almost, I think of the Princess Bride, in Tigo Montoya. You killed my father, prepare to die. The rest of his life is to come after that person. So in that, at least perspective, it was why it might have, from just a humanistic point of view of why you would not let the boys live, because they're going to come after you. They're going to eventually grow up. But in this context, this does not at all. But I had to say that, not just because I completely am cheering that on or like completely happy about that, as an idea. It makes a little bit of sense to me why, from a humanistic point of view, why they would have in that time frame have had to kill everyone. That is not in the same time what we are experiencing right now. Israel does not have that edict given by God to go out and just wipe out everyone and drive them out of the land. I don't think. But Israel has been established as a nation that they are right now, and they are reacting to what